show Let's Talk About Odoo. This is a place where we discuss everything about Odoo and its features and functionalities, updates, upgrades, and everything regarding Odoo ERP. Today we have an episode about accounting. Uh, Maybe it's a topic that is not that popular for some people, could be a little bit boring. But with us here is Katleya. Uh,
Hi.
Hello, Katleya. How are you today?
Hi, Diego. I'm good. How are you?
Great, great. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you for
Um,
inviting me over.
no, it's my pleasure. Uh, so you are an accountant. Um, But what is accounting? I mean, it is because sometimes it is like just keeping records, or maybe sometimes it's confusing with finances. Why don't we start saying like what is accounting,
Mhm.
and just to clarify and avoid any confusion.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Before that, let me just introduce myself to you. My name is Katlea. Yes, and I'm a CPA by profession. So I'm currently working here at Sincoria as a business analyst, as well as a consultant. And then yeah, I would love to discuss with you what accounting is about. So accounting has evolved in over all these years. I'm sure, Diego, you know an old accountant before, when they were doing everything by manually, right? They will be writing all these records in books, and they will do their own manual calculations. So throughout the years, accounting has evolved, but the principles remain the same. So basically, accounting in a layman's term is just recording financial transactions, summarizing them, classifying them in such a way that it can be able to produce a financial statements which will be useful for management to make an informed decision. Right. So basically, that's just accounting. So we do have different kinds of financial reports. We have this thing called profit and loss. I'm sure you have heard about that, wherein you can be able to see your revenue, expenses, and your net income, right? And there's also one financial statement called the balance sheet. So, what is balance sheet? By the term itself, it means balancing, right? So, debit and
Mhm.
credit should be balanced, means your asset and liabilities and capital must be has a contra effect against each other, and then it can be able to show you your current assets, liabilities, and capital, right? You also have a financial statement called a cash flow statement, wherein you monitor your cash in and out. And then at the end of the month or year, you should be able to know how much cash balances that you have in your books. Yeah, so I hope I didn't overwhelm you with so many statements, but basically that's what accounting is all about. Yes.
Okay. What I get from there is that it is like keeping an eye over the business. So it is like because I guess maybe some people or entrepreneurs or really small businesses, they don't have an accountant, and maybe they don't know how profit they're making. They don't know
Mhm.
if actually the business is profitable, because maybe they don't have those numbers. So an
Mhm.
accounting in general, it helps to clarify and to find that information in order
Yes.
to make good decisions and informed decisions, and actually pulling the business towards success, right? Because that is at the end the main purpose.
Yes, you are definitely right. So let's take, for example, a business. Maybe you're just a startup, and you don't have all these fancy ERPs, and all these things. And sometimes business owners, they just do their books in an Excel, right? So they keep tab of their receipts, their expenses, and then at the end of the day, they tally their cash collection and all these things. But as the business grows, of course, you would need help to keep track of all these things. So as your business grows, it will not just be about receipts and payments. You also need to keep track of your assets, your equipments. You need to keep track of your costs, right? So there's different also branches of accounting, wherein there's cost accounting, there's management accounting, there's general accounting. There's so many
Okay.
things. Yeah, but
And the taxes, right?
sorry.
The taxes.
Yeah, there is also tax accounting, wherein there is certain items in the financial statements where you cannot keep it as your accounting expense, but in tax, you have to take it out because it's non-taxable, non-deductible
Oh,
expenses. So I don't want to overwhelm you with that, but basically I believe that once you have a proper system in place, whether it's manual, or if you decide to go on to an accounting software, or an ERP, those kind of things should be taken care of.
right.
Automatically, I mean, sorry. Yeah,
Right, right. That is even better.
yes,
You introduce yourself as a business analyst at Sincoria.
yes.
Uh, your profile is an accountant, and I before we met, I thought that okay, she's the accountant, so she's the accountant of Sincoria, and that's it. But as a business analyst, I guess you are doing more than the accounting insights in Korea. So how uh, how does an accountant end up working in a tech company as a business analyst? Or
Oh,
what is your role in that specific area?
yes. So actually, I'm an accountant, but I'm not um, the accountant of Sincoria.
Okay, I
So
was wrong. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, to just clarify a little bit, I went into technology like ERP solutions, because way back, like in 5 years, 6 years ago, because I was working for an ERP company. But before that, I was an accountant, of a textile company. So that textile company was using an ERP solutions. So I was the one. Of course, accountants will use the ERP system. So I became the lead personnel who manages the ERP functionalities. So what I will do is I will be trained by the ERP consultant, and I will train my colleagues. So when I was doing it, I realized that, oh, I should be able to combine accounting with technology. And then I came to a point wherein I love doing technology more than doing what accountant does, because in accounting, as you do it again and again, it becomes like, a routine to you. So somehow you have to move in the different facets of accounting. And I realized that I love being in technology more, because um, let's say, for example, one transaction manually I can do in an hour, but when I do it in an ERP system, maybe in just a few clicks, I can be able to process the whole thing, right? So, and I realized, why not? I go into this, and then, as they say, the history, the rest is history. I began to, move into this career, and I'm loving it up until this day. So that's where Sincoria found
Okay.
me, and I found Sincoria. So currently at Sincoria, what I'm doing is in the implementation part, wherein I'm trying to help accountants be able to understand how the system process things, how Odoo processes is in a language that that person as an accountant and myself can understand. Because as you know, our company is a tech company, and most of them are developers, solution architects, engineers. So actually, it's an advantage for me that I'm an accountant, because the bulk of an ERP is mostly in finance. So I can be able to speak the language, of an accountant or a user using an ERP. Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah,
that's the
I
answer to
found it.
your question.
Yes, I found it very interesting because I've been involved in a couple of Odoo deployments. I mean, installing and delivering for a client. And the accounting is always the tricky part. I mean, for
Mhm.
me, that I'm not an accountant, because I know about the flow and the modules, and according to the business needs, which module maybe works better and how they can use it, different modules. So it is like more general. But when the accounting topic uh, came up, is it is like, it is not bad. It's not totally confusing, but it's
Mhm.
something that I feel like, uh, and I'm not the expert in that area, right?
Mhm.
And I see on your description is that you are taking like that experience and knowledge in accounting, and also the experience and knowledge in technology and these kind of solutions, and put it together to make it an
Yep.
efficient and a faster implementation, right? I mean, that is like the one of the key points, having someone who is expert in technology as well as in accounting. That is fantastic for an implementation.
Yes.
um
There. Yeah, you nailed
Let me
it.
know.
But I just a disclaimer. I'm still not an expert in technology. I'm still
Well,
learning
but
because technology is huge, and you have to keep on learning. So maybe what I can add on to that is being able to know how the system flows, like for example in sales, how the journal entry flows into the financial, what happens as you make an entry, what goes into the journal entries, how does it flow into a journal item, and then how can you see it in the balance sheet, those kind of things that help me as an accountant to be able to understand and relate it more. Example, when there is support query, or maybe a client, which is an accountant, asks, oh, how do you record cost of goods sold, where does it go, how do you map it, those kind of things. Yeah,
yeah, and I think that is part of the values that you have, and you can contribute for a deployment, because
definitely.
it's not only, of course, you just mentioned that technology is not, I mean, you're not expert in technology, but you know a lot about it, in order to explain it to someone else, and how to use it, and which part is better for their needs, right?
Yes, you're right. Yeah. um Somehow there is based on my experience, because usually developers would be more into coding, programming, right? So to be able to relate that in a manner, or in a layman's term, that users will be able to understand, in the finance perspective, would be, yes, definitely a good advantage. And that is what I wanted to do, to be able to contribute in the accounting finance side, so that I can help the company and the client bridge the gap, of
Hmm.
if there is any gap that needs to be filled. So that's where I come in. Yep.
Yeah, I remember the objectives of for example, a business analysis or a gap analysis is not only, well, maybe some uh, Odoo partners, maybe they listen what the client wants, and they transform that into the code to make it work for the client.
Mhm.
But I think we try to go one step further, listening what the client needs, but
Mhm.
also understanding why they need that, and
Yes.
maybe how they can improve the process before we make the software, right?
Yes.
Because once we understand the process and their actually needs, because they say we need this report, yeah, but
Mhm.
why, or where do you use it, or you can get it from this other part, or maybe that information is automatically in these others. So it is more like going a step further, understanding the actually the needs and why they need that, and
Yes.
be like a consultant first for the business, and
Mhm.
later we can develop a technology solution according to that needs, but making sure that the process has been improved before, right?
Yes.
I try to make, because sometimes my role is like in the marketing or the uh, implementation. I can be in the marketing area,
Mm-hmm.
but you in the accounting, it is even more useful because you can be more like that kind of consultant before the implementation of the software.
Yes. And I think it also make a difference when the users know that there is someone who can be able to understand them. And yes, you are right. It's important to also know the business requirement before suggesting something, whether it's already in the system, whether it's feasible, whether it's cost effective. So at least in that area, I can add on. I can suggest what I think as an accountant, what they can make a workaround with, or what the system can actually help with. So yeah, those are the things um, that we can actually look into when we're doing a business requirement analysis or gap
Mhm.
analysis, as you may call it. Yep.
Okay. And just to clarify, I mean, in general terms, we are talking
Hmm.
about accounting. Of course, we talk about Odoo, the software that we deploy for our clients, that we
Yes.
implement for them. Um, and in general, to our audience, when Katleya and I we were discussing what we want to get from this discussion, from this talk, it is like how can Odoo makes an accountant's job easier, right?
Yes,
I
you're
think I
right.
didn't mention at the beginning. I was too excited about this, but that is the main point. I mean, we want to talk is how we can make how can Odoo, I'm sorry, how can Odoo makes an accountant's job easier and faster and more efficient, etc., etc. And we start with the let's start in that part of the talk. How can be useful for startups or really small businesses?
Okay. Um, Maybe what I will say first is, as an accountant, of course, I have dealt with different softwares in the past, and because of that, you can be able to see differences in ERPs. So not all ERPs are perfect, but you see what's good in it, and then you maximize it. So when it comes to Odoo, what I like about Odoo is that Odoo is an integrated platform wherein everything is there. What Everything that you need is, I could say, it's all there. So when you go to the sales application, there's a purchase application, and these two is actually integrated to your accounting. It's not a separate system that you have to make an entry into your sales application, and then make an entry again into your accounting application. So
Mhm.
once, let's say for example, once you create a sales invoice in the sales application, once you close the sales order, it actually flows into your accounting, wherein you can make the accounting invoice from there. And what's also a good feature of that, it's there's visibility. You can be able to see what happened in one transaction because there are chatterbacks, um, chatter box below it. So it also serves as an audit trail. So it's easy to keep track of who created it, when, where, and what happened to that invoice, right? So there's sales application, there is purchase application, there's inventory, there's manufacturing, um, accounting, and all of this are all fully integrated. Because I've known some companies, they have a separate system for sales, they have a separate system for inventory, and then they have a separate system for accounting. So what's good about Odoo is that it's fully integrated. So one, you only need one entry to be able to have the data that you need. So by that I mean you already improved time, right? Efficiency, and this is what we wanted. To improve productivity, we want to be more efficient as an accountant by not doing manual work and not doubling the work. So I believe it already helps save a lot of time in an accountant's job by just making one entry in one application and it flows to another application. Let's say, for example, accounting and cost in inventory. This kind of things. So those are one of the things I love about Odoo. Yes. To add
And
to
I think
that, yep, yes.
I
Um,
think that it not only saves time but also avoid mistakes, uh, because anytime that someone has to type a number again and the same number has to be typed again on the different
yes,
department of the company, there is a risk for some mistake or for some confusion or and that is bad, right?
yes, you're right. Because and not only that, because the Odoo has a feature of let's say before you post an entry, it actually allows you to create a draft. So let's say if you made a mistake, you can actually just modify it and then edit it and then post it again. So these are also one of the features that is good because you can be able to check whether your entry is correct. But definitely in terms of doing it once, which avoids manual work and duplication, yes, you are correct. So those are one of the good things that I believe accountants will be able to have their jobs much faster and much easier. And also to add to that, we have this thing called automated entries. So for
Okay,
example, in the inventory app, some applications they don't have real-time inventory tracking. So let's say they
okay,
keep track of their inventory in a separate system, and at the end of the month they consolidate the stock valuation and they post it to a journal entry at the end of the month. So that's how they get their stock valuation at the end of the month. So in Odoo there is some real-time automatic entries, so you don't have to think about, oh, I need to make sure that my inventory is up to date, and then I can see that this stock value correct. Do I have to, I need to do a lot of checking, and then that's when I post it. So in Odoo, inventory is real time, and it's an easy way of generating reports on a monthly basis. So that's another
okay.
part where an accountant's job will be much easier. Yeah.
And I'm thinking if with a different system they need to consolidate that at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
That means that if at the beginning of the month there is a problem, they need to, I mean, they need to find the information and find the problem, I mean, the source of the problem. Uh, Either they have to wait until the end of the month, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe, no, I will say it differently. If there is something wrong and no one noticed, only at the end of the month they will
Yeah.
notice like, oh yeah, there was a problem like 20 days ago or something like that. But with these automated functions, uh, it can be reflected on different reports that that one can have automatically or generate the reports. But I mean, there is the information is faster, and that makes also faster decisions and more and avoiding uh, cost, unnecessary cost.
Yes. You were right. You are definitely right. So for inventory application, you just have to ensure that you make the right configuration and in the beginning, and then you can be ensured that along the way it just flows through. So it's just a matter of configuration. Then you don't have to recheck every entry that you make whether it's right or wrong, because once you have set it up correctly from the beginning, then you don't have to worry about it. At the end of the month, you get your stock valuation accordingly.
Okay.
Hmm.
And you mentioned that is connected with different modules that you already mentioned a few. Um, I think you maybe if I don't know if you have an example of which modules or how can be more we can see more the interconnection between these modules. Maybe about sales or purchases. I think.
Yeah, so we do have a sales application, we have a purchase application, we have inventory, as I've mentioned, manufacturing. We also have an expenses application. I know that there are separate systems out there that, when an employee wants to send, let's say, travel claims or, um, company claims, they have to send it to the accountant manually, or send the receipt, and then in turn the accountant will have to scan it and then record it manually. But in
Yeah.
Odoo, there is an OCR capability. It's one of the new features that they just have to scan their own receipt and send it directly by email to their accountants, and the system will be able to upload it automatically. Isn't that very efficient? Yeah. So
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
one of
And I
the,
think it works also with the taking the picture with the phone. I
yes,
mean, not
correct.
only
As
scan it,
long
but
as,
only taking the picture, and the system automatically identifies what is the item or and the value and the taxes paid, and it extracts the information automatically from that
yes,
picture. That is
correct.
really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I was amazed myself, that, Odoo has this OCR capability, but um, yes, it's one of the new features of Odoo. So we also have e-commerce, we have website, we have different applications that, integrates with one another. So another thing I wanted to discuss is about um, this feature called insert spreadsheet. So it's very powerful because I know most accountants, they love spreadsheets all over the place. Yeah, so what they do is they extract information from an ERP or from their um, ERP systems, and then they download it, they massage the data, and they rearrange it so that they can be able to present it to management. But thanks to Odoo, we do have this insert spreadsheet capability, wherein they would just have to download from the system, let's say, for example, their budget management report. So once it's set up in the system, they will just have to download it. And from there, they can actually do their own navigation. So it provides them a useful information because it's actually real time. So let's say they want to modify something in the system. Once they refresh the Excel, or not the Excel, the spreadsheet, it actually updates. So you don't have to download it many times and rearrange
Okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's actually really very good, and it's,
And
I
have
believe,
different versions.
yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
you don't have to have different versions because the system is actually working on that spreadsheet real time. Right. Isn't that great? Yeah.
Yes.
Another thing is that it's also collaborative. So people can, different users can actually work on the same Excel, and it doesn't affect whatever modifications the other one has done. Because apart from the
Okay.
one that you have downloaded from the system, you can also make, let's say, insert a field. Let's say you want to put your actual or maybe your budget, another budget column, and then see the difference, actual versus budget, and then you have your variance. So this kind of um, reporting capability is also very good. That I would like to share with our viewers today in terms of what Odoo can do. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm
Uh,
getting ahead of myself. Am I talking too much or too fast? Yeah.
no, no, it's just okay. Actually, I wanted to mention about that spreadsheet because um, what I see is that Odoo is like a fully integrated. I mean, it has different modules on the all departments of the business. But what this spreadsheet is also uh, like integrated. I would say like Google Documents, something like that. That is. Uh, Everyone knows about Google Documents and the spreadsheets on the cloud, but
Mhm.
they can set it like, okay, this column is going to be the cost, I don't know, X of one thing,
Mhm.
or a list of things, and automatically when that cost is updated from the
From the system.
inventory part,
Mhm.
is going to be automatically updated in the spreadsheet. So that is totally amazing. I mean,
Yes,
it is
yes.
like having an spreadsheet
Two systems
inside,
in one time.
yeah, inside of the ERP, and at the same time is updated with the new information or updated or changes, and I think that makes a great tool for. I think the reports are one part, but also the analysis or maybe business analysis or trying to find how to optimize something. Probably they want to get the numbers and trying to make some forecasts, or I don't know, getting some
Yes.
graphs. But with the information directly from the system and
Mhm.
automatically updated, that is totally amazing.
Yes, yes. It is. I believe this will be a powerful tool that many accountants will use. That would also help them, improve, their productivity. Reporting deadlines will be much sooner. They don't have to cramp every month end
Hmm.
because of the reports that they need to produce. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. No, I think I got frozen for a couple of seconds, but no, I think that is totally amazing. And what we were saying at the beginning, the accountant. I mean, the role of the accountant inside a business is, uh, I mean, he or her, she, they have in their minds, they have like the how the business is going. I mean, because they know all the numbers, and maybe they understand more. Even I think they understand better than the CEO how the business is going in terms of the accounting, of course. But sometimes these repetitive tasks are taking a lot of time, and it is like uh, very, I mean, not efficient way to use a role that has these capabilities and has the understanding of the business in their mind. I mean, someone with this understanding should be able to propose and to research about how to improve the business, not typing numbers and copying
Mhm.
and checking report that it could be automatically done, right? So it is, that is what I'm getting from this talk.
Yes, yes, you are right because the time spent in correcting data or manually inputting data can be a time spent in thinking about expanding business or proposing new objectives probably or new initiatives for the company in terms of revenue enhancement or cost effective management. Those are the kinds of things that accountants can be able to do more if if they're working on a system that gives them a faster way of generating reports, right?
Okay, that is, yeah, that is, for me it is actually, I learn a lot because I assume that accounting is more like, yeah, something uh, I mean, it's something that I'm not related to, so it's, I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
But I do see now the points you're making, that once the accountant has more time, it will be able to propose or to find different solutions or new initiatives, as you mentioned. So it is amazing having the right tools to
Yeah.
optimize the productivity of the at the end of the entire company.
Yes, you're right. Because I know in accounting there's sometimes their volume of transactions, especially in in bigger companies. So accountants spend most of their time, just doing even just data entries themselves to come up with the right numbers because of course accuracy is important. And once an ERP is able to take care of that, for example, decimal accuracy, currency rates, exchanges, and then you can be able to automate your entries. Yes, it all boils down in how fast can you be able to prepare your report based on how good the system flow works in an ERP. So that's one of the things. And also, if I may add to you, one of the things as well that takes up most of accountants' time is bank reconciliation,
I'm sorry, the
right?
bank
Bank
reconciliation.
reconciliation. Yeah.
Okay.
When I was an
What is
accountant,
it?
bank reconciliation is, of course, you are making entries in your system, right? You are having payments, you are having customer receipts, customer payments, vendor payments. So in your books, you have already received the money, but in your bank, you want to ensure that it's also received. So in that, there is a time difference between a book, accounting book, cash book, and a bank book, right? Because when you receive a payment today, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have received it in your bank today, right? Because usually there will be clearing time depending on the
Okay,
bank,
yeah.
in bank,
The
or maybe,
transaction to
yes,
complete the
depending.
transaction.
Correct. So depending on when, probably another staff deposited the money, right? So you have to ensure that those money that was in your book is actually in your bank, right? So when I
Yeah,
was an accountant
important.
before, I remember I will spend, especially during month end, I will spend hours just reconciling my bank. What I will do is I will check the bank statement one by one against my books to see if they're tally, right? But in Odoo there is what you call online bank synchronization. So you just have to synchronize your bank statement against Odoo, and on a daily basis, depending on the recurrence that you want to set up, it will automatically reconcile between your bank and your books. So that will also will
Wow.
save time in you spending maybe 5 hours or one day at the end of the month just to reconcile your banks
The bank.
against your
Yeah.
books. Yeah, so that is really a very good feature of Odoo, and I believe most of the users of Odoo is highly maximizing that feature. So that is also one of the improvements or things that efficiency can play a big role in an accountant's job. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that is like if a company receive 100 payments, someone without these kind of tools, someone has to go to the bank, not physically, but to the website or the
Mhm.
download the statement and check each of
One
those
by
payments.
one.
Okay, this 30 with 15 cents, $30, 15 cents. Okay, where is it? Okay, this is the one. So
You
this
are
is the
right.
50 with 60 cents. Okay, below that. And that is,
Yeah, that
I don't
that
know,
is really time
boring
consuming.
and time consuming. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
is,
is really time consuming. And there is also called a batch payment feature wherein you can group your payments so that it's easier for you to also match it against your bank, because usually in a day you won't be depositing, let's say, cash, like let's say you receive $100 from customer A, and then
mhm.
you receive $200 from customer B. You're not going to deposit that into your bank as $100 one transaction, another is $300.
Okay,
And
okay. Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you put that
batch
together, of course.
payment. Yeah, batch payment helps you to reconcile your bank against your books as well. So those features that are in place in your bank reconciliation is there to ensure that you actually it helps you process your transactions more efficiently and accurately.
So that means that Odoo connects directly with the bank
Yes,
and
yes.
it's able to download the statement and comparing and yeah, making like, okay, this payment is
Matching.
already in the bank. So of course that makes faster and easier.
Yes,
Um,
correct. Once there is also this thing called bank reconciliation model. So once you set it up, let's say for example, there are certain transactions in the bank that's not happening in your books. Example is, let's say, bank charges.
okay. Uh-huh.
Usually there will be bank charges at the end of the month, and you will only find out about it once you get your bank statement. So the system, the the Odoo is smart enough to know, like, when they receive, let's say, because banks will always have the same naming convention every month, right? So let's say they will put SC, which means service charge. So the
Okay.
system will automatically pick that up at the end of the month. Oh, that this is the service charge or bank charges for this month. So you don't have to worry about um you know um also
Yeah,
checking
find
the difference
the
between the
small.
bank and
Yeah,
the book. Yep.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you can set up those models as well. So the system will be able to pick up certain expenses that it always does every month. So that helps with, with the matching against book and banks. And all you have to do is just validate it so that you know that it's actually the right one that matches. Yeah. So there are many
Okay.
features in
Yeah.
Odoo. Yeah, we can go all day. But as an accountant, yeah, what I can just say is the system should actually help an accountant to move faster by making sure that data entry is seamless, and as well as generating reports is done on a timely manner, because once it's not on a timely manner, you lose information, and then decision making process is also delayed, right? So the more the more you get an information accurately and more efficiently and faster, the better you will make informed decisions, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
definitely. And better in these days that everything is online, connected, automated.
Hmm.
You cannot wait for the end of the month for finding how to improve something that you can improve it now. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah, time these days is getting even more important. I think we are over the time I asked you. Thank you for this time, uh, all
Thank
your
you.
experience and your knowledge. I want to mention that for everyone that of course we are part of the Syncoria team. Syncoria is a Odoo partner located in Toronto, in Canada, and the
Yes.
website is syncoria.com. Uh, if you are on YouTube, you are watching that on the screen. If you are on the podcast, it is Syncoria, syncoria.com. Sometimes I mess that up, but yeah, I hope you get it right. Of course, on the description of the episode, also it is the website, and also I want to mention the Odoo calculator. Just uh, really fast. This is a tool that we develop uh, because when someone wants to implement Odoo, there are a lot of questions and a lot of doubts if the company is ready or not for this kind of solution. So the Odoo calculator, what does is make it faster for them to just click a form, and they can select, okay, I want the purchases, the inventory, and the accounting module, and we are 10 members of the team, and the tool automatically is going to say, okay, according to what you selected, this more or less is going to cost the implementation for the software for you, and the time we take for implementing it as well. So it is like automated tool. It takes like 5 minutes for someone to just click the modules and see how big and cost is going to be the project.
Hmm.
So also you are seeing that link in the screen. It is the same website, syncoria.com slash Odoo as the software, ODOO
Hmm.
dash calc as in calculator, CALC. So syncoria.com slash Odoo dash calc. Um, I think that is very useful. A lot of people have using it, and they found it that very insightful for making the decision. And again, Katleya, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
Uh,
Diego. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
yeah, no, I enjoyed as well, and thank you everyone for listening and watching this. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.